This video will be titled, New Year's is a psyop. New Year's is a psyop, okay? I'm gonna get into this, explain why it is, and why, if you truly want to succeed in the new year, you can't be doing what everybody else is doing. The idea of New Year's, of the new year to be January 1st, you have to question that, okay? Maybe you've never questioned that, but you have to question it and understand that we are still in the middle of a season, okay? Why would it be a new year right in the middle of winter? Like, winter just started not long ago, and why would it be where when you hit January 1st, all of a sudden there's new goals, all of a sudden there's new aspirations, all of a sudden you're changing your whole routine, you're changing your whole schedule, your diet, your fitness plan, etc. This is not how nature intended for us to evolve, to transform, to grow, right? There's a reason why animals stay in hibernation in the winter, okay? This is just common sense. But you don't need to even trust me on this one of explaining why it doesn't make sense January 1st being the new year. You go back in history, okay? So we currently use a Gregorian calendar. Back then, it was called something else, and the calendar wasn't 12 months. Right now, the Gregorian calendar is 12 months, January to December. But about 600 years ago, believe it or not, the calendar was 13 months. Search this up, this is true. It was 13 months according to the 13 lunar cycles. Now they changed it. Why did they change it? For tax purposes. I swear to God, search this up, it's all right there. A lot of people don't know this. This is not really like common information, even though it should be, because they're literally screwing up with our cycles, screwing up with our rhythm, with our biological rhythm, which I'll get into in a little bit. But you need to ask yourself, why did they change the year and how it was structured from 13 months to 12 months? Because technically speaking then, we should still be in 2025, right? It should be the 13th month of 2025. But all of a sudden, it's the new year, and everyone's going after their goals, restarting things, trying new things, and they wonder why they can't keep the same diet, the same meal plan, whatever it may be. It's getting loud here on the highway or on the main road here, so I'm gonna have to speak up. But you have to ask yourself, like, why is it the way it is? Because we're designed for failure. I mean, I hate to be pessimistic when I say that, but if you are going according to the new years and how it's structured, January 1st should be a time, like the actual structure of it, like going back in history and you really want to succeed, January 1st should be a time where you're reflecting, where you're planning, you're going back and seeing where you went wrong and preparing for the year. But it's not the year. Like, a lot of people are preparing in December and thinking that when January hits, it's go time. But you can't be doing that, because from an energetic standpoint, we are still in a previous year. We are still in the same season, which is winter. So why would you go ahead and shoot for the stars and start all these New Year's resolutions, which is a term I hate to use because it's such a it just feels very NPC-like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna start my New Year's resolutions and I'm gonna get a six-pack and lose all this weight. I'm gonna make all this money. Many reasons why those people fail, right? Whether it's their habits themselves, their mindsets, their belief systems, their environments. But really, the biggest kicker is the fact that they're just in the wrong season. They're expecting a flower to blossom and grow in the middle of winter. That's literally what it is from a biological standpoint. Our bodies works on clocks, right? Everything has a rhythm to it, just like how plants grow at a certain time and vegetables and fruit grow. It's no different. We are a part of nature. That's why there's literally something within us, factory installed within us, you could say, called our circadian rhythm, our biological clock. And that dictates when we sleep, when we wake up, at what times the sun and what times essentially certain functions of our body is optimized for. So, if you wake up at a certain time, That'll be optimizing a certain part of your body. Maybe it's your liver, maybe it's your pancreas, maybe it's your kidneys, whatever it may be. And then if you don't listen to that cycle, that clock, I should say, then it affects everything, right? That's the reason why if you go to bed at like 2 a.m., wake up at noon, you feel off. There's a reason why, because everything is intended a certain way. Okay, that's the main point I want to make, is that God already made us a certain way. Everything is made a certain way. But if you don't understand what has happened, within the last hundreds of years of why the way the world is right now and how it's designed to F us up, then you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And look, you could have goals January 1st and still hit them and still crush it. But shouldn't you just want to optimize them? Optimize the way, the systems you have of hitting your goals and hitting your targets. You know what I mean? Like, why start a new business January 1st in the middle of winter, thinking that's going to change so much of who you are? Meanwhile, you're in the middle of winter. You're in the middle of hibernation mode. You're in the middle of reflection. Why are there no trees in the winter? Okay, I'm in Florida. It's different here. But I'm from Canada. I'm from Toronto. Back home in Toronto, there's no leaves, right? There's barely any animals. Everyone is hibernating. They're chilling. They're insulated. They're just not going out and doing something new. They're not hunting that much, whatever. They're just not thinking of growing and transforming. And that's how we have to interpret the New Year's. That's why it is a psyop. That's why if you're just wanting to change January 1st and thinking that you're going to miraculously evolve and ascend, then you're just going against nature. I don't know how else to put it. So you're probably asking, okay, well, when is it a good time to then hit my New Year's goals? And what is the true New Year's? The true New Year's is spring equinox. Spring equinox, that sounds right, I guess. But that is middle of March this year, April 1st. April 1st is like, okay, it's the new year. And it's ironic how April 1st just so happens to be April Fool's Day. Like, it's all right in front of our faces how whoever is pulling these strings are clearly doing it and kind of, they're doing it in a way where we're so oblivious to it all. We just listen to them and follow it, and we don't even question everything. We don't question, what even is April 1st, April Fool's Day? Why is it a thing? Why is Halloween a thing? Why is Christmas a thing? Why is New Year's a thing? Why is the whole New Year's Eve celebrations a thing and the fireworks? Like, why? Okay, it's a new year, great. It's also a new month and a new day and a new week. Like, it's all designed a certain way to be drinking and going crazy New Year's, and then the goals, it's all like, you're drinking, you're in such a low vibrational state already to begin with, of partying, celebrating nothing, celebrating another year, cool, okay, and just for you to F up, just for you to restart. This is another big psyop they do. New Year's is almost like an idea of restarting. It's like, okay, I didn't hit my goals in 2025. Now we're restarting in 2026. Now we have to go back because we failed. We didn't do what we wanted to do. How BS is that? To think that just because it's January 1st means, okay, well, I didn't hit my goals. Why? Why are you on their timeline? You got to be on your timeline. You know what I mean? Like, I just got a class here. Give me 1 second. This guy just ran right through a red. That's funny. Anyways, but why be on their timeline? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the biggest takeaway that I've learned, that I want you to take away as well, is you have to be on your own timeline and have that timeline coincide with nature, coincide with the way things have been for millennium. Right? Because we're so fixated on like this peer pressure of doing what other people are doing, of they have their own goals January 1st, I have to have my own goals, and I have to keep up with everyone and hustle and do things when I don't even maybe even want to do them in the first place. Be on your own timeline, okay? Just because it's January 1st doesn't mean you failed all your goals. You're on your own timeline, okay? God's timeline. It's It's not up to whether it's January or February of dictating whether you're gonna hit your goals or not. Focus on you and have that coincide with nature, okay? If you don't wanna give in to the psyop of thinking that you have to do something and be a certain point at a certain time, focus on your timeline and understand that spring equinox, when it comes around middle of March, April, that's when you start that business. That's when you start that meal plan, when you start that trip you've always wanted to do, like something new, something that you want to transform and evolve. Wait until April. Wait until it's nice out. Here it's Florida, it's completely different. But back home in Toronto in Canada, where, there's actually all the seasons, you see, oh wow, by March, by April, things are blooming. Things are looking better. Things are getting sunnier. And that's when you want to, of course, become that new version of yourself. So anyways, gonna wrap up this video now, but that's just the takeaway is don't give in to the psyop. This video has kind of been all over the place because it's been a little bit loud here. I'm on a main road. I haven't been able to fully concentrate, but I hope you got something out of it, because to a lot of people, I know for a fact, this is new information. To me, this is like something I heard about maybe a year or two ago, but for a lot of people, for most people, I would say they've never heard about this. They think I'm crazy if I were to say this, even if I had evidence right in front of their faces to show them why things are the way they are. Because it's not a conspiracy theory. To say this New Year's currently is a psyop, that is a fact. Like, it's a psychological operation to put us in a state of failure. That sounds very harsh, but and I don't want to be saying that, but that is the case. If you're just thinking, to be on your timeline and not think about what it is, like how nature is growing and evolving in the seasons, and thinking you could just do whatever you want, you're setting yourself up for failure. And they know that. That's why it's designed like this, to party and whatever. I'm done. I'm not going to get into that again, but hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you realize that now's not the time to change. Wait, reflect. Okay, there's a great link also to a booklet I'm going to put down below. It's a PDF. It's called Year Compass that I've been using right now to reflect my 2025 and plan for 2026. Highly recommend doing it, filling it out, and take some time. It's a lot of questions and a lot of reflection, introspection, all of that. I'll link it down below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.